Every Sunday from 12 to 2 at the church on Main Street, we studied the Bible. Some of us never wanted to go, like Taiyo, who would fake a fever by putting a thermometer on the stove, or Hiro, who would hide in Mr. Harada's laundromat playing pool with old white men. Some of us found Catholicism genuinely interesting, like Moriyama, who insisted we call him Matthew after the apostle, or Kirishima, who wore a cross necklace made out of cardboard wherever he went. Regardless, every Sunday from 12 to 2 at the church on Main Street, we studied the Bible. Miss Brown read us verses from Psalms every class. But I trust you in your unfailing. My heart rejoices in your salvation. Lord Almighty, blessed is the one who trusts you. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. We nodded and wrote down word for word these verses in our tattered notebooks. However, as we obediently scrawled these words, some of us had trouble finding logic in them. How could we trust in God if he allows Sato's dad to be taken away because he was on the B list? How could we trust in God if he allows Kai's peers to call him names like Dirty Jap? How could we trust in God if he allows Aki's house to be broken in at 2 a.m. last night and the police to arrest her parents for owning a pair of binoculars? I am most afraid when I put my trust in God. The variety in our interpretations of God led to separations between us. Fights broke out during recess, some ending with Miss Brown breaking it up, some ending with bloody shirts and Bibles, all ending with no real winners. Those of us who lost were usually the ones like Taiyo and Hiro, the ones without God on our side, and they would often have to reconsider whether they were wrong. Were my parents putting their faith into the wrong God? Was this really all a part of God's plan? After the 10th mysterious disappearance, the godless ones started taking refuge in the parking lot next to Mr. Harada's barbershop from time to time. We'd look out into the distance and contemplate why we couldn't accept God into our souls. It felt pretty obvious. But as we thought about Kirishima's cardboard cross and Matthew the Apostle, we couldn't help but also feel like we were missing something. And as we looked out into the never-ending sky, the utility pole we passed by every morning on the way to church on Main Street seemed to look different, seemed to look holy, seemed to look divine. We all looked at each other with the newfound knowledge that we were, in fact, the ones who were lost, but with the uncertainty of how to be found. So we did what Miss Brown had taught us and prayed. We prayed for our white neighbors to stop staring. We prayed for the word Jap to never appear in the papers. We prayed for a moment of peace. We prayed for our mothers and fathers to return. We prayed for a God.